On the call, if you could take yourself off mute when I call your name, if you could respond, I'd appreciate it. I'll note for the record that Ron Newell's here since he just called the meeting to order, and we'll go with Vice President or Vice Chair Bill Starmer.
Present.
James Houts, Larry Carr,
Present.
Bertha Gutierrez,
Right here.
Marshall Desai,
Present.
Giordano,
Present.
Brian Wilson,
Here.
Norm Ashford,
Present.
and Karina Berrigan. Okay, showing 8 members present, and we do have a quorum. Item number 1 is comments by the general public. This is a period devoted to comments by the general public about items on this agenda. Is there anyone on the call that is wishing to speak to this meeting? And we'll move on to item 2, which is action to approve the agenda with the deletion of any items. Share the agenda in order for approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Harshal Desai, City of Henderson. Present the motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Harshal. There's a motion on the floor for approval from Harshal Desai. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries unanimously. Item 3 is action to approve the minutes of the August 30, 2021 meeting. Mr. Chair, the minutes are in order for approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Bertha Gutierrez, Clark County, motion to approve the minutes from the August 30th meeting.
There's a motion on the floor for approval from Bertha Gutierrez. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. That motion carries unanimously. Item 4 is action to accept the financial reports. Mr. Chair, you should have got an email before the meeting that shows the most current sales tax. Andrew, if you want to go to the next slide. We did receive our sales tax numbers for the month of July. We estimated $8.9 million. We actually received about $11.4 million, which is about 28% higher than we estimated. So we're continuing to see really high sales tax receipts the last 5 months really. We're seeing over $11 million each month, which is much higher than we ever have seen. So we're still kind of riding this high wave of recovery here. So for the year, we're at 11.4 million, 2.5 million over our estimate. This is the rolling 12-month sales tax chart, so you can see a steady climb up since February in the rolling 12 months sales tax. So we're at 118 million as with including those July numbers. So we're seeing strong recovery after things reopen. So that's all good news. We're waiting to see if these numbers come back down to earth, but in the meantime, we'll enjoy them while they're high. And with that, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer those. If not, staff would recommend you accept the financial report. Any discussion or questions?
Saeed, can you put yourself on mute? You're causing some background noise.
Who is that?
Saeed.
Saeed. Oh,
Thank you.
okay. Entertain a motion.
Ron Newell, motion to approve.
There's a motion on the floor from Ron Newell for approval. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. That motion carries unanimously. Next slide, please. Item 5 is action to adopt amendments to the 10-year construction program. Mr. Chair, these are amendments to the program for fiscal impacts that occur later in the agenda. There's also a separate 10-year program amendment that's in the backup for the city of Las Vegas. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Jim Giordano, City of Henderson, I'll make a motion to approve the amendments.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor from Jim Giordano to approve. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries unanimously. Item 6 is action to accept the final accounting report and close out the interlocal contracts for the construction for the following projects. Pittman North Detention Basin and Outfall Phase 3 construction, and Pittman Pabco Boulder Highway Crossing construction. These two projects have completed construction, and so they're closing out these interlocal contracts and returning excess funds. With the closeouts, we'll return about just over $1.2 million. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Marshall Desai, City of Henderson, motion to approve item number 6.
Thank you, Harshal. There's a motion on the floor for approval from Harshal Desai. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries unanimously. Item 7 is action to accept the 10th amendment to the final accounting report and project closeout for the following project, Tropicana Wash at Swenson Construction. Mr. Chair, you've seen a similar item to this several times in the past. This is a result of the contractor going bankrupt, and as part of the bankruptcy proceedings, it was determined they owed the county just under $13,000 that they're allowed to pay back in installments. So this is the next installment, just under $1,200. They'll be returning. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Bill Starmer, motion to approve item 7.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor to approve item 7 from Bill Starmer. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries unanimously. Next slide, please. Item 8 is to receive a report on amendments to the Regional Flood Control District's Policies and Procedures Manual 2021 Annual Review and Update. Mr. Chair, every year we do an annual review of our policies and procedures and update them as necessary. I think we mentioned at the last Citizens Advisory Committee meeting that we were starting that process. We have identified several areas that we're going to update, so we'll get those finalized and submitted for next cycle to be reviewed and approved by the committees and the board. Just in general, the 3 topics that we've identified include how to deal with residual property. Residual property is property that was purchased using Regional Flood Control District funds for the purposes of right-of-way for a flood control facility, but the final facility doesn't actually utilize all of the right-of-way. So there's a remnant parcel. So if that gets resold by the entity or if it's rented out, these policies will dictate what to do with those funds, which is basically return them to the flood control district. The second item is to eliminate the cash flow projections in the project presentation. We started years ago doing cash flow projections to try to identify how the cash will be spent down on a project. It's usually in the shape of a bell curve. We were going to use that information for funding purposes, but we've decided since not that it isn't necessary, so we're just going to eliminate that as a requirement on the entities. And then the last item is to clarify the limits of local drainage. So local drainage projects or projects that can extend off of a regional facility will pay up to a quarter mile of that facility, and then beyond the quarter mile, it's a 50-50 split with the entity. The language is just being clarified to show that it's perpendicular essentially from the regional facility instead of parallel. It has to be perpendicular, so a quarter mile in length from that regional facility. So those are the three main corrections or updates that we're going to do to the policies and procedures manual. And again, we'll have those finalized. We'll have all the changes in red to the policies through the next cycle, and you'll be able to see that. And if you have any questions, you can ask at that time. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions if you have any now. This is just to receive reports. There's no action required on this item. Any questions?
Steve, this is Harsha Desai, City of Henderson. Question on item number 1 related to residual property. Did you have an instance when an entity did not return the proceedings to Regional Flood Control District when that property was sold? And is that the reason why this is being clarified as part of the policies and procedures?
No, it was more because there was some changes to Nevada revised statute, and so we needed to make sure that the policy was up to date with current law. And so that's really what the changes refer to. We haven't had any problems getting the entities to provide the funding when they sell a property.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Now we'll move on to item 9. Receive the quarterly project status reports reporting period May 2021 to July 2021.
Can everybody go on mute? There's some feedback. There's some really bad feedback.
That's better. Thank you. So the quarterly project status reports are in your backup. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Steve, this is Chris Biggins. Can you just go ahead and read item 9 again? Because we didn't hear it very well.
Okay. Item 9 is to receive the quarterly project status reports reporting period May 2021 through July 2021. The reports are in your backup. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any regarding the project information in the report. There's no action required on this item. It's just to receive a report, but I'm happy to answer any questions or discuss anything if the committee has any questions.
This is Larry Carr with Boulder City.
Yes.
I think it's on page 61 of the project. It's City of Boulder City project. It's the status of the percentage and estimated completion. And they have Hemingway System Phase 2B improvements. It's 77% done, and it's estimated completion 11/8/2021. If I read the backup correctly, it sounded like that got delayed, and 11/08 does not sound like the proper time. I guess the city engineer would probably be more up to date than I am, but I just thought I'd ask to have that checked, please.
We can check. I think there is some potential delays. I don't know that it's been determined just yet. And keep in mind, this is the quarterly report for the last quarter. So what's happening in this quarter is a little different, maybe reflected in the next quarterly report. But you're right. I think Hemingway is experiencing some delays, and they're trying to figure out what the new end date will be. So hopefully that'll get updated in the next report.
Okay. I just want to make sure that didn't hamper us in any way to having that.
Yeah, it doesn't really hamper us. It's just something we'll keep an eye on, and occasionally projects get delayed, and that just is part of the construction business. But I think they just need to resolve what the delay will be, or if they can make up the time. I don't know, but I think Hemingway probably will be delayed beyond what their end date is. And the city will be working with the contractor to resolve that.
Thank you.
Good. Any other questions or comments? Move on to item 10, which is action to approve the 6th supplemental interlocal contract for construction to reallocate funding to include a line item for entity construction construction management labor costs for the Las Vegas Wash, Sloan Channel to Stewart Avenue, and Flamingo Wash below Nellis Boulevard, Clark County. Mr. Chair, this is a supplement to add a line item for the entity construction management labor, and then also to reallocate funding into that line item of $250,000. There's no fiscal impact related to this item. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Brian Wilson, City of Las Vegas, motion to approve item 10.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor from Brian Wilson to approve item 10. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries unanimously. Item 11 is action to approve a request to reallocate funding within the interlocal contract for design for the Blue Diamond Wash, Arville Street to I-15, Clark County. Mr. Chair, this is a reallocation of funding to move additional funds from the from right-of-way into the entity design labor line item. There's no fiscal impact for this item. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Ron Newell, motion to approve.
There's a motion on the floor for approval from Ron Newell. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries unanimously. Next slide, please. Item 12 is action to approve a request to reallocate funding within the interlocal contract for construction for Duck Creek Haven Street storm drain, Clark County. Mr. Chair, this is another reallocation for this project. They're moving $75,000 from construction management to the entity construction management labor line item. There's no fiscal impact. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Herschel Desai, City of Henderson, motion to approve item number 12.
Herschel, there's a motion on the floor for approval from Herschel Desai. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries unanimously. Next slide, please. Item 13 is action to approve the first supplemental interlocal contract for design to reallocate funding to include a line item for entity design labor for Flamingo Wash, Maryland Parkway to Palos Verdes Street, Clark County. Similar to the previous items, this is a supplement to add a line item for entity design labor and then a reallocation to move money from design into the entity design labor line item. No fiscal impact on this item. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Ron Newell,
Berta
motion to approve.
Gutierrez. Go ahead.
I think I heard Ron Newell motion to approve.
Yes.
Okay. Motion on the floor from Ron Newell for approval. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? Sorry. Any opposed say nay. That motion carries unanimously. Next slide, please. Item 14 is action to approve the second supplemental interlocal contract for design to increase funding for the Las Vegas Wash Stewart, Las Vegas Wash to Lamb Blvd, City of Las Vegas. Mr. Chair, this is a supplement with a fiscal impact of $648,000. It's been determined through the design of this project that we're going to need to acquire residential structure to get the facility to work. So this money is being added to the right-of-way line item to facilitate that acquisition. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Bill Starmer, City of Las Vegas, move to approve item number 14.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor from Bill Starmer to approve item 14. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. That motion carries unanimously. Item 15 is action to approve the interlocal contract for design for Hiko Springs Wash Detention Basin expansion. Clark County, Mr. Chair, this is a request for funding for a new design interlocal to expand the detention basin down in Laughlin. This is an existing detention basin that's proposed to be expanded. There's going to be a pretty significant pre-design effort on this because we have another future detention basin that will drain into this basin as well as a diversion structure. So we're really going to have to analyze all of those facilities to be able to design this expansion for the Hiko Springs. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion or questions? Entertain a motion.
Ron Newell, motion to approve.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor for approval from Ron Newell. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries unanimously. Item 16 is Gowan North, El Capitan Branch and Road to Centennial Parkway, City of Las Vegas. Item 16A is action to accept the project presentation. Mr. Chair, we do have a presentation for this item, and Mr. Saeed Mohammed's on the line to give the presentation. So Saeed, when you're ready, you can take yourself off mute and you can begin your presentation.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Citizen Advisory Committee members. My name is Saeed, last name Mohammed, for your record. I'm living in 774 Hardesty Court, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89139. I'm the project manager for Gowan North, El Capitan Branch and to Centennial project, item number 16A.
But if you want to advance the slide, go ahead and tell me that slide.
Okay, can you move the slide, or I have to?
Yeah, there you go.
Andrew will have to.
Okay, yes. Now the second page. The proposed Gowan North, El Capitan Branch and Centennial master plan facilities located in Gowan North. Gowan watershed, which is located on the northwest portion of the Las Vegas Valley. Please, the next one. The next page. Okay, yeah. Phase 1, the downstream portion of El Capitan Branch has been built in 2019 and ready for connection to our upstream side north of Ann Road. The proposed storm drain facility, the total length of the proposed storm drain facility is 4,935 linear feet, which consists of a transition, access structure, and junction structures, laterals, and storm drain collection facilities. Currently, the City of Las Vegas and Clark County are designing the full road improvement for Centennial and Tropical Parkways. The construction of this master plan facility is a perfect opportunity and a good timing to collect storm drain from these two improvements, the two county and city improvements. The next page, please. The El Capitan Way has an 80-foot right-of-way. In existing condition, it has two lane or 24 feet asphalt in the middle. The proposed storm drain is located along the center at the center line of the road. Consequently, the majority portion of the asphalt will be removed and replaced. The trench depth varies from 14 to 20 foot. Please, the next one. Okay. All the cost of the proposed facility is 10.9 million. Out of which 9.3 million is going for construction. Please, the next one. All design documents 100% completed. Right of way has been obtained. All necessary local and state and federal permits are obtained. Please, the next one. The bid award date is planned for December 2021. Construction will be started in March 2022. The project is anticipated to extend for 12 months. Please, the next one. This time, I will be happy to answer for any question.
Thanks, Saeed. Any questions for Saeed?
Saeed, this is Jim Giordano, the City of Henderson. I just had a question on the cost estimates.
Yes, sir.
We're running into a lot of cost increases due to inflation and that kind of thing. Fuel prices are going way up. Have you guys factored the recent construction pricing increases into your estimate?
Yeah, currently we planned per the current bid price, and we assume that the construction is soon, and don't think it will be increased from this further.
Okay, so you're using recent cost information. That's good. All right, thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions? I'll just note for the record that one of the prerequisites for funding is to obtain a permit for crossing the Kern River gas pipeline, and the city is entering into an agreement with the Kern River to get that work done. It's going to the city's city council 2 days before our board meeting, and so it's kind of being approved subject to that approval of that interlocal. And with that, staff would recommend that you accept the project presentation. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
No motion. Move to approve.
Okay, I think I heard a motion for approval from Norm Ashford. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. That motion carries unanimously. Item 16B is action to approve the interlocal contract for construction. Mr. Chair, this is an interlocal contract with a total value of $10,042,401 for construction management, and any entity, construction management labor. Sorry. There are sufficient funds for this project. Staff recommends approval. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Bill Starmer, City of Las Vegas, move to approve item 16B.
There's a motion on the floor for approval from Bill Starmer for item 16B. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay. And that motion carries unanimously. Next slide, please. Item 17 is comments by the general public. Is there anyone on the call wishing to address the committee regarding any item related to the Regional Flood Control District? Okay, hearing none, I believe, Mr. Chair, if you want to go ahead and adjourn the meeting. I think that concludes the agenda.
All right, Steve, thanks for everybody showing up, and I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 3:33 in Las Vegas, or wherever we're at. I've been studying California, so.
Oh, wow.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks.